We are expanding next door to the corner spot, which is 446, I believe, 2nd Street North, in the corner of 5th Avenue North and 2nd Street North. And we're expanding to become a market, adding to our loft space here at Muskwine. And the market will be basically pretty much a curated grocery, deli, and wine store. The loft will stay the loft. It will be more focused on pinchos, tapas, and also wine and vermouth spritzers, and wines by the glass and by the bottle, obviously.
For me, it's maybe looking back 50, 60 years where I grew up, where you had the little store where you go to that somebody help you pick the right fruit, somebody help you pick the best produce, somebody help you pick the right cheese for the day, and maybe remember your name or your first name, and make it feel like you have somebody that is a friend and you can ask about the product, about the experience we're gonna have.
We want to kind of highlight everything that we have here in Florida, particularly here in St. Pete, because we do have a lot of great artisan makers here, but we are European inspired. So we are kind of traditionalist in that aspect, that we really appreciate the way that good cheeses, good meats are made and crafted, and how produce should taste and how things should be experienced.
Well, obviously we'd love to have you come and see us and have a glass of wine with us or a cup of coffee and talk with us. And even if you don't have that much to buy, just come and take a look. It's going to be interesting.
Hello, welcome to Must Wine Loft, Learning to Flight number 66.
Hello.
We're here in Florida, but we are traveling to the Alps tonight, and we're taking you with us. And we're going to start out in Slovenia, in Gorska Brda. And Gorska Brda is an interesting region because this actually, part of the region is in Italy, and part of the region is actually in Slovenia. So in Italy, it's called Collio, and then it's called Gorska Brda in Slovenia. So it's a very, it's a kind of a really cool area, and I'm going to show you. We're going to watch some videos tonight, and we're going to literally take you there. And so let me drop in our fun little screen and show you what we've got going on tonight, and we'll just jump straight into it. My name is Jessica Arkwright. My friend here is Raymond, and we do this every week here at Muskwine Loft, 6:30 p.m. usually, unless we have some other hot date, which doesn't really happen to us very often, but we like to dream. So we've got Giocato, and this is actually a project of Alex Simchik, and Alex is Eddie's son, I believe. I'm not sure if he's the son or the brother, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've been trying to figure it out, and I know that their family, there's a lot of Simchiks. They're a very they're a wine family, and they've been doing this for a very long time. Thank you, Tom, for fixing our friends. So we're gonna start out in Slovenia, like I said, and so this is Pinot Grigio, otherwise known as Pinot Gris in France. And here's a little map for you, and we're gonna start out, like I said, in Gorska Brda. And here you are. Over here, you can see Collio. To your, if I had a little finger that you could see me doing this on the screen, you could see me going like this. But basically, we're ending at Elena. Go all the way back to that blue line, and you can see Collio down there on your screen. So, and here is what Pinot Grigio actually looks like when it's growing on the vine. It's actually not a white grape. And a lot of people have this misconception of it, but they actually don't usually allow skin contact with Pinot Grigio, with the must, when they're making it. And so that's why the conception is that it's a white grape, but it's actually not. It's more of it's a green. So, and then that just basically means gray. And in the wine world, that means that it's not a yellow or green skinned grape, which is going to be your white varietals. It's not a noir, which is going to be your black skins varietals like Syrah and Zinfandel. And it's not a red either. So it's not quite any of these. And so that's why it's kind of in its own world of its own. It's just green or Grigio.
Yeah.
So, and this is Eddie Simchek. He does mostly terroir driven wines. Fantastic. We got to have lunch with him a couple years ago. Well, probably like 5 years ago now, not to date ourselves, but we will. We'll be showing you some videos of him next. But we're going to let Raymond talk about the cheese. And the way that we're going to do this is a little bit different tonight. I'm going to kind of let him talk about the cheese earlier than I normally do, and then we're going to show some videos so that you can enjoy your cheese and enjoy your wine while we're enjoying the videos, and then I'll talk about the wineries a little bit afterwards. So for those of you that are joining us online, you have notes, and it pretty much tells you a lot of the history about all of the wineries. So feel free to read along as you wish, or do whatever you want. So you make yourselves at home. You are at home, hopefully enjoying yourselves.
Yeah.
So tell us what you heard.
So to pair it, I don't have any cheese from Slovenia or even Serbia around here. It's not a very big export area for cheese, but they do a lot of goat cheese and sheep milk cheese, pretty much like the Greek and the Albanian and that whole area of the Balkan. So I picked organic, totally organic Mount Vikos Feta cheese, and this Feta is made of a mixture of goat, sheep, and goat milk. It's totally natural cheese. The animals are grazing out in the mountain of northern Greek Macedonia, which is some mountainous area, which has a lot of grass and wildflowers and all kind of aromatic growing there. So it's a great region and a great diet for this animal. So you will get that nice sharpness of the goat and milk sheep, but you also get that almost a tropical flavor from the herbals and eating the flowers and all that. It has a little bit of that pineapple flavor as you first bite it. So it's all organic. It's aged for 2 months, and then it's contrary to a lot of the feta that are packed in big bucket of wine, which gets real salty after a while. Those are packed nicely in a pretty dry packaging, and that means that they're not soaking into salt water the whole time before you get them. So it's a real nice. It's almost like getting the product right at the farm, which is why I enjoy it so much. It's also real good. We added some olives to the package, and this you can enjoy with the Feta and the Pinot Gris. It should go real nicely with the Pinot Gris, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll let Jessica tell us about the wine.
I will. Okay, so this is one of the video, I watched a video, and it was these three. They're called the Wine Brothers, and these three brothers who are from Slovenia. And I literally took a screenshot of this is their grandfather's vineyards. That's what they call them, vineyards, not vineyards, but they call them vineyards there. And so it was just beautiful, and I had to show you because this was taken this video that they shot in this picture was taken this time of the year last year. So I wanted to show you what autumn looks like in Gorska Barda, so in Slovenia, which is just absolutely gorgeous. And then here is pictures of the Eddie Simchek property. So you can just see these vineyards are just super steeply terraced. So basically, we can start going way back to like the Roman era here with as far as their vineyards date back, their wineries date back that far. This is formerly Yugoslavia, technically. So, and then after the World War II, I believe it was, then that's when it passed into communist rule as part of the reestablished Yugoslavia. And it wasn't until 1991 that then it became Slovenia, and they earned their own independence, and they no longer basically had to give their grapes over to the government. So that's the history of this area. And basically from there, once, the early 90s, the Simčić family, they've always had lots of vineyards and they've had a lot of property, but they basically just said like, hey, now that we can do this ourselves, let's make an industry out of this. Let's really go all the way. And so that's what they did. And so as you can see, like, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Here's a closer up, shot up close to the property, and then I'm going to show you some video. Hopefully we can do this and so this is their winery. Yeah, so this is their winery, and just going in into the town. Yeah. Well, they're actually going around. So this is Gorska Barda, and so they're actually going around through the town, and it's not playing on here, so I'm not sure. There you go. Sure if they can hear or not. This part made me a little bit dizzy. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, whoa. I get vertigo now as I'm getting older.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as much fun to go hiking as I used to. Like after I had that almost panic attack thinking I was gonna fall off the mountain. Stop being as much fun going hiking.
That was good.
Yeah.
But the next
The
week,
wine farmers have never taste.
that's real good.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's so different.
It's very tropical.
Yeah. The
There we go. All right, so, oops. All right, so, yeah. So as you can see, it's kind of gorgeous in this area, and we really, really would love to go visit. That's how I feel anyways. I would love to go visit. I wanted to show you guys the bottle because I wasn't sure if you were able to. I know that we did put some screenshots in there as well, though, of the label and everything, but I also don't know if you guys can see, because let me move my banner and then you can see this beautiful cheese board that Raymond has put together. And so hopefully you've done something like so for yourselves at home.
But it tastes good also, but it's always make it taste better if it looks
When
good.
it's presented well.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I just wanted to show you that, and then I'll make us smaller again so that we can continue to go through. Oops. The other way. There we go. Alrighty. So, I'll go back though. So just to kind of give you an idea, so we were saying that Alex has long-term contracts basically with the growers. They do have some of their own fruit as well here at the Simčić winery, at the Eddie Simčić winery. They do all of their harvesting by hand, and all of the Pinot Grigio is done completely in stainless steel. So, and Alex, I want to just read you the back of the bottle. Giocato, pronounced Giocato, and cat is it's uppercase. So like that's where it's Giocato. So the cat is the dancing cat is really what it's about. And in Italian it means to play and to have fun. A few things go with moments of pleasure, like this bright and remarkably crisp Pinot Grigio with aromas of fresh green apple, acacia flower, and minerals. Giocato is made by Alex Simčić, one of Europe's greatest and most humble winemakers. He speaks 5 languages, has a passion for riding motorcycles through the countryside, and making wines, world-class wines with pure, intense flavors. I want to point out this is actually a 2019 vintage, not a 2020. I do apologize. I got my vintages wrong. And this is 13%. And this was a project that Alex worked with the importer actually to create a just kind of like an entry level, easy drinking, but still terroir driven Slovenian Pinot Grigio. But that's basically like I want to say like a by the glass price for your restaurant drinkers, for your people who are just like, give me a glass of Pinot Grigio. And this was one that we always carried when I was the beverage director for Farm Table. We carried this by the glass for, I want to say like almost the entire time when I was doing the list anyway. So, so if you've probably had it before is my point. So it's just very easy drinking. Very, very tropical in style. It goes fantastic with the feta. I really enjoyed it with the feta a lot. So
yeah, it's kind of natural mixed,
yes,
natural pair to
right.
me anyway.
Yeah.
So,
And then now we're going to go to Italy.
Abbazia.
Yes, and we're going to Alto Adige is the region, and this is Kerner. And Kerner is a fun grape because it's a hybrid grape basically that they created in, I want to say 1929. I want to say is when it was created. I have a little blurb over here about it. Here you are, the Kerner grape. Okay, so here's a picture of it. So this is an aromatic white grape created by August Harold in 1929. And basically he took Trollinger, otherwise known as Schiava, in this area, and he blended that with Riesling. So it's a very interesting, unique white, in my opinion, because it's almost got, like, you can taste and smell like the berry.
Almost an Alsace.
Very Alsace. Very Alsace. Like you get the red fruit kind of like
It's got the bottle.
apricot. Yes, it does.
But the nose is very
So aromatic and just beautiful florals.
Honeysuckle, maybe?
Honeysuckle, I get like apricot too, for sure. Like that yellow, even some like pear in there.
ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is actually an Abbey, so which is what Abbazia means, and Di Novacella, which means the Abbey of Novacella. And so this was an abbey that goes all the way, dates back as early as 1177, and Pope Alexander III was the person, the king, or the Pope, I should say, not the king, the Pope at the time, who confirmed the monastery's ownership of the vineyards in the vicinity and said that they were basically like, yes, let's do this. So over the course of the centuries, they did acquire more vineyards as gifts, basically from people, from families, and also the villages and things like that. And this is a picture of the monastery, or of the abbey, I should say, of the monastery. And there, it is still a working monastery, and there are still monks there. They're a little bit different because they actually work. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later because we're going to end with this winery again. But
Well, not the monk in New York, we're in those eyes.
Exactly.
I mean, they
That was
in
kind
the
of,
field. They make cheese. They usually make alcohol.
I was just going to say
they make
that.
wine. They're not,
They do. They actually have a whole farm and a school that they run that teaches enology.
And the products are
viticulture.
always great products.
Yeah.
But I was watching the area on Google Maps because I wanted to see how close to the border it is. It's actually so close to the Austrian border. Then you go like half a block and you're in Germany. I mean in Austria. That's how close to the border it is. I mean, one side of the hill is in Italy and the other side is in Austria. So that's why a lot of the names
In Germany.
Across. Well, no, not Germany. Germany's
Germany's
up above.
Okay.
Across from Austria.
Because they speak German in this area.
Austria is.
Yeah.
They speak German in Austria.
Yeah, exactly. So because that we'll see later on in the next one of the next videos, but I actually was like, what?
And you can see on the name of the wine too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an area that has both language because at different time the border was at different area.
Right.
So those people all speak German. I mean, I've been there and all the way down until you get to Venice. Every store from the border of Austria to Venice to the Adriatic, you go in, and most of the time they'll speak to you in German.
Yeah.
Not in French, not in English. It's their first language when they see a tourist, because you look like a tourist, is German. Because they deal with all the Austrian and German coming down through Austria to go to the Adriatic Sea on vacation.
Exactly.
So they all, I mean, I'd walk in the store and they'd start talking to me in German. It was okay because my wife is German. So.
Right.
But it's so close to the border. I mean, it's like here is Austria over here, and then here is Italy. That's how close it is.
I love it.
So it's pretty neat.
It is.
But it's beautiful area with a lot of mountain.
Yeah.
And
so we paired.
So since I could not pair something that I would have paired because northern Italy is famous for truffle cheese, we used to carry a sottocenere, which is made in that area, the northern Veneto, and technologies are giving it to you.
Let's grab it.
Okay. But anyway, the only thing comparable to sottocenere, which is like a caramel, kind of creamy, but is infused with black truffles, is actually from California and is the Point Reyes TomaTruffle. It's the cows are grazing in a beautiful area right off the Pacific coast, right at Point Reyes. They make some marvelous blue cheese, but they actually do this cheese and is most likely inspired by the northern Italian cheese. And is a Toma. Toma is usually like a mountain kind of cheese because the milk is really rich because the cows are out grazing in the mountains, so it's a real good quality milk. And it's, beside being very creamy, has a beautiful flavor of truffles, like winter truffle, and it's just gorgeous. So it will be a good match for that wine, I'm sure, because it's like the Alsace Riesling kind of grape always go real nice with truffle cheese, just like as Prosecco do, and Prosecco are done a lot in that area too, which would be another reason, but it's very much terroir. They both terroir, same terroir kind of thing, even though this one is in California.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a great Italian style cheese with truffles.
I agree. I actually, for me, it was funny because I've had this one before, I've tasted this one before, and one of the things with the Kerner Grape that they've said in a lot of the notes and things that I was reading is like that sometimes you'll get hints of pepper, and it wasn't actually until I tasted the TomaTruffle, and then that's when the pepperiness on the finish kind of came up, but it didn't have that until that moment for me.
Oh.
So. And then it's not like, it's more like a white pepper on the finish of it. So that's why I picked up my olive, because I feel like that would also like add a nice contrast. I know the olive was with the feta, but
Well,
I'm always late.
olives are good with other cheese too.
I'll struggle with everything.
Manchego, you know.
Exactly.
So, but this was the reason I picked that, is because it was the closest thing I could come up with besides Sottocinere, which is sometimes a little bit limited supply right now, coming from Italy. So.
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you some pictures of this is the vineyards at the Abbey. Just again, there's high terraced vineyards that are just absolutely gorgeous. And then now let me show you some videos. We already did this one, that one, and this one. We're gonna go down here now.
Yeah, those terraces are great for drainage. Yeah. That's a pretty large area.
It's
I mean,
huge.
Abbey.
Yeah.
Quite a few monks in there, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great terrain for the grapes, because the water, I mean, drains so good. It never. Those are real cool, right?
With these white wines.
I know.
That is fantastic.
I know. Both of them are. The reds are too. Just wait. I love every single one of these. It's one of my favorite regions. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
On the exact same crest of but they're talking about how they both fun. All right. Maybe still is off the mic.
So kind of gorgeous, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of stunning. Kind of like, wow.
Nice place for a retreat.
Yeah. Oh, very nice place for a very nice retreat. And I can understand why they've dedicated themselves and their lives to this, like a very simple but humble, humble but also like awesome. I mean, you couldn't pick a better location and Abbey, like monastery, I think. Like, I mean, I'm sure Japan would, or in other places would probably have other
Yeah, but this is
beautiful,
very,
but this is just so different. I don't know.
this is how you get
So
closer to God.
it is, yeah, exactly. It is, right? Exactly. So, all right. So we'll go to pairing number 3. So we're staying in Alto Adige for the next 2 pairings, and now we're going to switch over and we're going to go from the whites to the reds. Thank you. And this is one of my personal favorites. I love Schiava and I love Elena Walch, and I just adore her passion and her foresight and her commitment to everything. This is another one of those like meticulous vineyards, meticulous winery. Everything is very thought through. Everything is purposeful. However, it's all done in respect to nature and the harmony of nature, as much as the commitment to the people as well, to family. It's the whole thing with sustainability, basically. I mean, it's really looking at everything. So we paired this with the Alto Adige Speck, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of information about Schiava, because if you're not familiar with Schiava, you should get familiar with Schiava, because Schiava is fantastic, especially if you're a Gamay or Pinot Noir fan like myself. This is my alternative for kind of like late summertime, fall, because I like the Beaujolais and the Pinot is kind of more towards the summer in the springtime.
Looks like Africa.
I know, it does. It does look like Africa. You're right. It is. So yeah. So as you can see, it's a dark. It's a black grape. So it is similar to Gamay as far as the color goes. I mean, you can see this is pretty ruby in color.
Ruby.
I also like to serve this with a chill because of that. It reminds me of Beaujolais on the palate because it is that red fruited, lots of high cherry notes on this. Butter?
Yeah.
He gets butter right away.
Yeah.
Actually, I do. I agree with you. Like melted butter does. It does. It's like the melted butter notes came out.
The
Like drawn.
hazelnut butter you do with the gnocchi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
That's what it
delicious with
smells.
this right now. You're making me hungry.
Hazelnut, and butter. That's what I get first.
So
And so,
So
yeah.
we'll let you talk about Speck, and then I'll
So,
talk about the wine,
yeah.
and we're
And-
gonna see some videos that are gonna blow your mind.
That's a
Again.
quintessential creation of that area, either Tirol or Südtirol or Alto Adige. That's the way they make cured ham there. They do actually cure the ham for regular 18 months or so, 24 months, just like they do with the prosciutto. But after being done with this, they actually smoke the product. And it's just in the style of the German ham. It's a little bit smokier than a prosciutto. It's basically that same beautiful pinkish color, but the edge gets smoked, so it adds a lot of flavor to the ham. It's served in every place, on charcuterie plate for breakfast, on pizza. It's just so wonderful. You cook it thicker and dice it for little bacon, like bacon bits almost in your salads, and it's a wonderful product. It's very lean, and it has a great smoky flavor to go with the wine in that area. I think they really blend very good with that. It's a great product to go with so that's why we picked it. It's growing right there, just like the wine. So it's a terroir-driven product. I've also added some little Italian sweet drop peppers that are real nice to break down because of the little sweetness and acidity. It breaks down real nice with the smoked meat.
Yes.
I think you'll enjoy that. And
Some almonds over here too.
I
I
think
always
it's
love the almonds.
I think it's a great product to go with. And like I say, every place you go in that area, you're going to get Speck, either for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner, somewhere. And, add it to build scallopinis. And so it's really wonderful product.
Yeah, and Südtirol is just South Tyrol.
Hmm?
Südtirol is just another. It's more like the.
Well, there's a certain part of Tirol,
Right.
which is most of Tirol is in Austria. It's on
Yes.
Innsbruck
Exactly.
and the ski station and all that. This is already
Which
lower.
is
That's the edge of the Alps.
Yeah.
So it's the bottom edge of the Alps. So it's a sweet part. And you go in Südtirol against Austria is Tirol, and then Italy is Südtirol. So
And you can almost see because I was looking at this picture and I was like, why do the mountains look different? But that's why, because they're getting they're getting lower
Yeah.
because it's southern, and so they start to kind of look almost like Martian, like moon look.
And then there's the Dolomites, right?
Yeah.
I mean, west of that,
Yep.
which are very similar to it too.
Such a fun area.
But it's
I
beautiful.
can't wait. We're going. My sisters and my mom and I are all going to this area in August of next year, and I cannot wait to take you all with us. That's all I'm gonna say.
And you also have some
So-
great cheese in that area,
Yes.
which I hope I could bring over
Yeah.
by now, but they don't export much. They
Right.
have smaller production. It's not like Switzerland with a Gruyere and all that. This is smaller production area, but the cheese are just wonderful.
So yeah. So Elena Volk she is an architect by trade, and her husband, his family they're very large vineyard owners in this area, and they're prominent. And I'm not quite sure who her husband is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sure if I do some deep digging, I will find out. But basically, he said to her, well, she said to him, and she'll talk about it in one of the videos that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to actually play that video because I think that she does a good job of explaining her story and how this whole project kind of came to be based off of like a conversation that she and her husband had where he was like, well, if you want to make world-class wines, go for it. And so she said, okay, I will. And she did. So she's kind of a force in the wine world. And I will show you first the video of her, this is a promotional video for the winery. Notice the difference in the music.
That'll work.
Can you guys answer the phone, please? Sarah or Tom? Is Tom not in here? I know. No, is Tom not? Where'd he go? Good. Glad you answered that.
I saw this out there.
Yeah, I'm glad you answered.
Yes.
It's 10,000 meters.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Large, they're huge. Yeah, we're 90% ran.
That's some great big wine over there too. When you look at it, it's like, oh God, 10,000 meters of Margot. You know how much money is in that citern? It is crazy. it's not heavy on
Oh, I love
fruit,
this
you
one.
know, that blue,
Exactly.
like cherry. Or,
Well, there's cherry.
and even it's very light.
It's balanced
Yeah,
with the minerality, in my opinion.
which
That's
is.
what I like about it.
Mm-hmm. I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those Speck.
All right. One more.
Es war nicht so, dass ich von vornherein gesagt habe, ich gehe mit rein, sondern es ist so ganz logisch vor sich gegangen in einer Realität. Und hier herum in der Ruhe und Wein
Another one. Let me. This one is trying to play at the same time. Sorry.
Ich habe eine lange Geschichte in Südtirol, weil Ursprung eigentlich Mailand ist, dort bin ich geboren. Und ich habe nicht nur Architektur studiert, sondern ich habe das nicht ausgeübt, weil ich dort einige Jahre ein eigenes Büro gehabt habe und eigentlich
That's what I'm saying. They
Freude
she's
und
played
auch
about so her daughters and
das Büro geführt habe.
Oh, Australien.
yeah.
Über meinen Mann kennengelernt. Und irgendwann ist diese Gruppe entstanden. Wir haben geheiratet und ich habe meinen Mann dann gesagt, ja, aber du hast ja ein Juwel, die aber als solche nicht valorisiert sein. Und dann hat er gesagt, okay, gut, wenn du schon das so kritisierst, übernimm sie und versuch sie international zu machen. Der Respekt zur Natur hat man in der Architektur auch. Die Liebe zum Detail hat man in der Architektur auch. Und so sind es viele Parallelen gewesen, sodass ich jetzt gesagt habe, ja eigentlich, ich schließe mit meiner Arbeit ab, denn in zwei Sprachen kann man nicht arbeiten. Und ich nehme ganz dem, was die Familie seit Traditionen macht. Man darf nicht vergessen, die Familie ist seit 1869 in beiden Bereichen tätig. Aber das war halt auch für mich zu wenig. Ich gesagt habe, wenn ich ein Wein international bekannt machen möchte, dann muss ich weg von der Tradition des Traditionellen. Es muss eine Seele
Good.
Diese Seele ist
Just opened it today here.
It's so good.
And it's nice and fresh.
I know, I
It's
can
beautiful.
tell.
It's not
Indonesien.
No.
Es ist dann eine Entwicklung, die von selbst geht, aber es ist das Wichtige, dass das Produkt als qualitatives Produkt auftritt. Ich habe mit der Weinproduktion begonnen und das war für mich fast wie ein Kind. Deshalb wollte ich es an mich binden und deshalb der Name Elena, mein Nachname, weil der Name meines Mannes. Ich will das aber jetzt weiter, weil ich komme es nicht auf ewig. Es ist ja alles begrenzt und es sind jetzt unsere Töchter, die Eltern bekommen haben. Ja, ich habe es gemacht in meiner Zeit. Die Töchter werden es in ihrer Art und Weise weiterführen.
Sie hat dann total spannend damals ganz viel auf den Weg eingeschlagen. Und unsere Idee ist dann auch, diesen Weg weiterzugehen. Ne? Und weiterzugehen und so enger und strenger vielleicht zu werden. Spezielle Ideen, von den Planideen geht und auch Weingehen. Und das ist was für mich jetzt sehr, sehr so negativ. Es gibt sehr viele Frauen, die in dem Bereich arbeiten, vielleicht weniger in der Produktion, weniger in den Weingütern. Beziehungsweise in den Weingütern sind Frauen da, deswegen hat es genau zu bleiben. Also dort ist dort, wo es noch am längsten vorangeht. Aber ansonsten haben wir natürlich das Beispiel unserer Mutter gehabt, das heißt, wir haben den Instrument so mitbekommen, also uns war es eigentlich normal, das ist
Yeah, the different Australian. The dialect is a little different from straight German.
Die Leute sagen, er schmeckt mir einfach.
It's more, it's like a southern. Well, northern Europe, but not southern. But that sounds like educated Australian. Oh, versus somebody like Schwarzenegger.
Right.
That was it.
Kind of amazing, huh? Yeah. So that is that's Elena Walch and her daughters, Carolina and Julia, and I think that it is a pretty cool video. And I'm gonna try and not let the other videos play again. Oh, I lost one of them, but that's okay. So anyways, yeah, so I mean, I feel like I don't really need to even say much because I feel like both of the videos spoke about the winery and their vision, and I hope that you understand. But I wanted to point out they own two properties that are Vigna designated sites, and they're both castles that are surrounded by vineyards. And one of them is the Vigna Castel Ringberg in Caldaro, and then the other one is the Vigna Castellaz in Tremin. And Tremin is also where home of the Kerner Grape is as well, which is a delicious, very highly aromatic white wine that has just like bone dry minerality and acidity that is just like refreshing, and it's fantastic. So we will definitely be carrying some more Alto Adige wines and some more varietals from this region, especially as we expand and have more shelf space. So we'll keep introducing you to other varietals and more of her wines, because right now we just have the Schiava, and that's just because it's a personal favorite of mine. I do love her Lagrein as well, and Lagrein is how it's pronounced. But I can't say enough. I have mad respect. That's all I can say. The vinification did take place here. It was fermented in stainless steel tanks with 6 days of skin contact, and it is followed by a short maturation in traditional large oak casks, which you saw in her video. So I don't feel like we need to really lament on those. And so as you can tell, like Schiava is just absolutely a fun wine to enjoy.
Yeah.
It's light and bright.
Looks like they were doing gravity too on the top.
They do gravity flow in their in the winery. Yes. So it's a very modern, like we said, she's an architect. So everything was pretty much has been redone because she did this. They are a world-renowned winery, and they are on the map. And she is a force to be reckoned with in this area. She is definitely like one of those. When anyone, any like travel like, I don't know, writers go out, like they always cover them. Like Rick Steves, you can see him like covering Elena, so I'm just happy to see that, and I love her wines. So we'll see more.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, because I could just sit here and crush on these wines all day long.
Oops.
We're going back to the Abbey, to Novacella. So now we're gonna try that Lagrein that we were talking about. And again, you've got your beautiful label. And let me get my little, oops, I'm on the wrong computer. Alrighty.
Doctor, right on that one.
So these are just more pictures of their property, and you can see over here where they sit, and this is just such a beautiful shelf of vineyards, just so gorgeous. So anyways, Pairing number 4, Abbazia of Novacella, 2019 Südtirol, so South Tyrol, Alto Adige, Lagrein, and we're pairing this with Taleggio. So, Lagrein is a descendant of Taleggio, which is also related to Syrah, Pinot Noir, and Dureza, which I have never heard of, so I am sorry that I don't know much about the Dureza. I feel like it's probably Dureza grape. And the name suggests its origins lie in the Lagrein Valley of Trentino. So, and this is what the berries look like as they're growing. As you can see, they're a little bit smaller.
Tighter.
Yeah, they're tighter and smaller than the Schiava that was very big. So you can almost, usually when you have tighter and smaller berries, kind of like petite Syrah, you're going to have concentrated fruit. Exactly. So, in the color, exactly. The color is totally different here. So this is dark. I used to say, and I still do, if you like Merlot, you'll like Lagrein. So
Almost like a
it is closer to Syrah.
in color.
Yeah. But it doesn't have the broodiness. There's still a nice lifted fruit to it that's not broody like Syrah can be. So I feel like that's where it's a little bit different. It's got the pepper though. And
You know that when toasted, when
I heard, I know. I was like, I'm glad we got you.
Well, I mean, I never carried it. And it was just like, when you get that next, it was like,
Where'd you go?
yeah.
my wallet.
He's-
I don't know.
Luckily you're close by, right, Mari?
This is like
First rescues.
the red crust of the bread in Italy.
When it
And
gets
it's on the
baked
dark
and it's,
side.
yeah, I was just gonna say, when it's like baked and crusty and
That's the way I
very
eat my
burnt toasty,
bread.
as my mom likes to do. My mom loved burning our toast when
No,
we
no,
were
it's
growing
not
up.
burning, it's just crusty.
Yes, that's what she said too. So
Yeah.
tell us about the Taleggio that you
And I've
paired.
been great with the Taleggio too, because Taleggio need that bread to go with it.
It's true.
But Taleggio is also another cheese from the area up in the northern Italy too. So that's the other reason we picked it. It's a mountain type of cheese, so it's got that rich, creamy consistency. It's a wash vine cheese, which means they soak they wash the vine of the cheese every few days with wine, and that kind of develop the flavor for the cheese. By keeping it moist all the time, and then it's sit in the cellars, so until it's enough age on it for starting to maybe go a real light gray mold on it, because that's sign it's starting to age and it's going to get more flavor as it ages. So this one is actually not that pronounced of a funk to it. It's got that A flavor, that mushroom, all that smell from the barn, and you get when you go in the cheese making facility. So it's a great pairing with wine like Syrah, like Merlot, like the heavier, the Chateauneuf du Pape, things like that. Also with some of the northern Italian wine. So it's a cheese that I really enjoy with red wine. You could do it with white wine, but it's got to be a wine that can take to the heavy flavor of the cheese. Maybe a sparkling wine.
Yeah. Or cider even.
Yeah, but
Unfiltered
I
cider
think
would be
this will be
delicious with Taleggio.
I think it's really a great mix for the wine. It's, like I say, it's a very rich milk because it's the same thing. It's mountain milk. All the Alpine type cheese have that real heavier milk flavor, herbal flavor, hay flavor, because the cows are basically eating natural there. There's no adding, anything to their diet. Real good milk to start with. It's hard to make bad cheese with a real good milk. I'm sure you'll enjoy it with that. and it's a nice touch to ending the period. It's the most powerful one, so I
That's why we ended, yeah. That's why we ended with that. Because you can't come back from Taleggio. It's hard to do.
To stay there.
Yeah, it does. It's going to stay, and kind of the same with the Speck also. But they have different
They go good
components,
together.
and they work so well together.
Actually,
They really do.
if you make a flatbread or pizza with
That's what we're
Taleggio
saying.
and Speck,
It's our
I mean,
favorite
it's like-
thing to melt together. Yes, we do that here. So just come on in. Because we definitely like to add to do the Speck and the Taleggio
yes.
on flatbreads. They're just so good together. So, anyways, so here are our monks working during harvest, and so just to kind of give you some more information about the abbey. So it was founded in 1142 by the Augustinian Order of Canons Regular, which I'm sure is pronounced like regular or something like much more like interesting than regular. I'm sure I'm butchering it. And so they have taken vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience to their superiors, but they also work to support themselves as part of their community by basically growing grapes for winemaking and also farming apples, vegetables, in a small school that's primarily dedicated to enology and viticulture. So that's pretty much what their industry is here. And I think that it's pretty evident. Here is a picture because I was like, I want to see their cellar. So I did some digging and I did find some photos of their cellar because, I mean, come on, going back to 1142.
Yeah, but they built just like a church, you know?
I know.
That's where you want to have
Yeah.
some wine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty awesome. So, in my opinion. So they have, and then, okay, I want to say this also. They're kind of a big deal around the world. Like this abbey is probably one of the few abbeys that's actually known for being good wine producers. So much so that in 2009, the Gambero Rosso named Celestino Lucin, who is their winemaker, and they named him the winemaker of the year. So that was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of competitive, like super competitive in Italy, and Italy is very much a very, like
Wine producing country.
they're very competitive.
Yeah.
And it's also like who you know, and it's kind of the way it is.
It's a great product there. So.
Very good products. So this is fantastic. So yeah, so they plant their white grapes in the town of Novacella, and then their red grapes are actually further south. And the Lagrein, let's see here, they're further south, and they are planted. The Schiava and the Pinot Noir or Pinot Nero are planted near Lago di Caldaro, and the Lagrein is planted near Bolzano, and then the whole production of their whole footprint is 80 hectares, which I want to say basically equals about 150 acres. And then they work with like 50 other small growers in the region, so which are surrounding them from there. So anyway, so it's pretty cool. And they have 15, so they own 60 hectares in Novacella and then 15 hectares at their Marlhof estate near Bolzano. And then they also do work with those other 50 growers basically. So, and then we already talked about Lagrein, so I don't really need to talk more about that. This does see fermentation on the skins in stainless steel for 15 days. It does undergo full malolactic fermentation, and then it is matured in these guys. So yeah, the big old oak casks.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty good. And then let me see. I don't think we have any questions yet about anything, so I'm not really going to go on to that. I'm going to show you our hours real fast, just in case you forgot. Our hours are going to be changing. We do get the keys to our expansion space next week on Monday officially. So next week, we're actually going to be filming in our new space, pre-construction. So in the formerly known as a
Welcome
gym
to the
space. Yeah, welcome to the gym. That's no longer a gym. That's pretty much two walls and two walls of windows. So it's gonna be fun, but we're going to enjoy turning it into a nice, more retail space, basically. More retail and more seating and more classes, more classroom space, and just more of everything that we love here at Must. So next week, because we try to do these every week, next week we're going to focus on Grenache and Garnacha. I have not decided if we're going to do white and red or if we're going to focus on one or the other. So, because I kind of feel like we can totally deep dive, because Grenache is pretty much what most people are familiar with.
Maybe we should do one white Grenache.
Yeah, but I want them to taste the varietal itself and then also it in a blend. And blends from different parts. So that's why I debate on going white and then red. Just to give you the sneak peek in my brain. Because I am all about educating you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, we just also really enjoy all these wines. There's so many great Grenache Blanc blends around the world, from California to Spain to the Rhone Valley. I mean,
So
even in California and in Australia.
It's going to be mostly New World.
I say California, but I mean
world.
Australia and South America.
Is it going to be mostly New World or Old World or mixture?
That's what we're debating on still.
Okay.
So, to be continued or determined. We're also starting our Tuesday night socials. Our first event is this Mystic Must, which is going to be October 12th. And this is where we basically combine tarot readings. So we have Emily Stone, who is offering tarot readings. You can sign up with her in advance to guarantee your spot and that you get a reading, or you can sign up the night of the event. We recommend that you sign up in advance to make sure that you get a spot, because we are limited. She is limited on how many readings she can do. So, because we're only here for a few hours. So we're also looking for vendors to kind of do some nice, fun things that go with wine and cheese. We're focusing more on organic, biodynamic, and low intervention wines, basically, and trying to introduce you to those wines, because it's not something that we have a lot of here at Must. So that's why we do this once a month, basically, to kind of put new juice in your glass, because usually the natural wines are the freshest juice, and they're what you want to drink fresh and young and now. And they're also small production, so what we have is what we've got. So it's kind of fun in that way. Then after that, these are our next Tuesdays. We have the third Tuesday is Out of Office, which is our women who love wine who are not working, which means basically yes, we understand that you have a job and you do your job, and we want you to support your business and promote your business. However, we also all need to kind of turn off business talk at a certain point of the day. And this is our way of forcing ourselves to do that and have conversations with each other that are not necessarily driven around what we did with our daily work routine, but more so getting out of that work routine and looking at other other aspects of our lives, and how we can pay more attention and kind of get, talk about things, I guess, and dive deeper and enjoy wine along the way, and cheese. So this includes a wine and cheese pairing. You can pick. We feature these things, and then we're going to have a presentation. Orshi Ren is our first guest speaker, and she is going to be talking about manifesting harmony, and she is a wellness coach as well as interior designer. So she's going to teach you how to zen up your space, but also like put things where they're most beneficial to you. That's the only like way that I can explain it, is encourage you to take a deep dive into how you live and how you function in your own home and how to make your life less stressful by doing simple things. And then we have the 4th or the last Tuesday. It won't always fall on the 4th. It might be the 5th, depending on the month. So we are always going to say it's the last Tuesday of the month. But basically, it's our neighborhood mixer. It's Old Northeast and downtown. We're at this weird kind of like cross street of downtown and Old Northeast. Literally, we're part of downtown as long as you go this way. And then over here is all residential in Old Northeast neighborhood, which is historic homes. And the oldest section, well, one of the oldest sections of downtown St. Petersburg. So, which is growing and bustling and busy all around us. So that's pretty much it for us. So I do hope, and I don't see any questions yet, so we're going to sign off.
Say good night.
And say good night.
Yeah.
And let you all enjoy the rest of your wines and your cheeses.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next Wednesday for Garnacha and Grenache. Have a good week. And
Good night.